Eve Tongi captures spiders and eats them alive. Salvador Dali opens exhibitions dressed in a diving suit. Benjamin Perret insults priests passing in the street. The Surrealist movement seems to be caught between the world of bourgeois art and the realm of irrational behavior. André Breton sees only one solution, and in 1927 he applies for membership of the Communist Party of France.
Monsieur Breton, this is your third appearance in your application to join the party, and I'm afraid we're by no means satisfied. You've not succeeded in justifying your surrealist activity to us. If you are, as you claim, a Marxist, we cannot understand why you have any need to remain a surrealist.
Art cannot, without disqualifying itself, agree to submit to any outside orders or humbly fill the ranks which some would like to assign to it in the interests of short-term pragmatic ends. You will only transform man's condition if you take into account his subjective needs as well as his material ones. If you ignore them, then communism will only create new forms of alienation.
What we want is a proletarian art that will describe proletarian life and proletarian aspirations. Bourgeois culture is dying. It is the artist's job to help lead the workers towards a new popular art that will emerge with the liberation of the masses.
But you are asking the impossible. How can a bourgeois artist be anything but inept at translating the workers' aspirations? Trotsky has already argued that it is pointless to contrast proletarian and bourgeois culture in the pre-revolutionary period. To the extent that a culture is proletarian, it is not yet a culture. To the extent that there is a culture, it is not yet proletarian.
But look at your pasts. Your colleague, Aragon, recently referred to the Russian Revolution as a vague ministerial crisis and made silly jokes about doddering Moscow. You've taken a very sharp turn since then, haven't you? Why should we believe that your present view of the revolution is your real one? And look at your backgrounds. Your outrages at literary parties don't impress the workers. They see you as the spoiled children of cafe society.
Yes, it's true. We are asking to join your ranks in order to totally dissociate ourselves from the class we come from. This is not, as you suggest, one more provocation. We are far too conscious of the way bourgeois society tames its rebels, savoring the poison and calling it entertainment or avant-garde. Thought, art, even spiritual revolt can be reduced to a commodity. We can only avoid assimilation by writing hermetically, by not making ourselves obvious to every department store shop assistant. History is frightening. Only the unclassifiable, the indefinable, is disconcerting and can be used to shake the complacency of the bourgeoisie.
But think about whom you attract. It's the bourgeoisie who lap up your scandals. Your blasphemies and erotic outrages only charm the jaded palate of the anarchist set amongst the aristocracy. Don't you see that since your works are appropriated and misinterpreted, it is necessary first to make a social revolution? After that, you can think about poetic authenticity. To be anxious for such luxuries now is simply a diversion. It encourages hope where there is none.
No, I cannot accept that. Of course, we regret the public treatment of our work. Of course, we do not wish for their patronage. Perhaps it is true that we are wild beasts in a cage, but that does not make us wild beasts any the less. You seem to be saying, on the one hand, that we should create propaganda for immediate consumption by the masses. Against this, we say that any revolutionary message that is embodied in a conservative form cannot have a revolutionary effect. And on the other hand, you demand that the mind and imagination must abdicate until the revolution has been accomplished. And against this we would say that even if our work does not immediately help to precipitate the revolution, the job of interpreting man's condition is indispensable to building the post-revolutionary world.
What are you doing?
Every mistake in the interpretation of man involves a mistake in understanding the universe.
What are you doing?
And becomes an obstacle to its transformation.
You gotta go out? I think it's been a minute. Awesome painting. Awesome sculptures, right?
Kurt Schwitter's concept of nets has taken over his entire house, which becomes a constantly evolving nets building. Schwitters continues to create Nets magazines, Nets collages, and Nets poetry.
Go on, Michael. He was singing. We got in school. Hey, look, it said, oh, it looked like it said Amando, but it kind of does. Oh my gosh, it's a Nazi. Whoops, I didn't even see all that crap. Awful.
denn damit dieses stolze und herrliche Haus seiner Bestimmung.
In Munich, Adolf Hitler opens the National Socialist Museum of Pure Aryan Art.
Oh gosh.
In Berlin, John Hartfield's photo montages have evolved
Get
out
out
of
of there.
Dada into a powerful weapon of anti-Nazi propaganda.
The meaning of the Hitler salute. Millions stand behind me. Through light towards night. Goering, the butcher of the Third Reich. War and corpses, always the hope of the rich. Madrid, 1936. What the angels
Just a second,
revealed
Dingaling.
as Christmas.
Here, one thing.
Adolf the Superman. He swallows gold and spouts junk.
In Paris, the Surrealist group summoned Salvador Dali to justify his obsessive interest in Hitler.
Unfortunately, I'd forgotten most of the details of this very peculiar meeting, but I was suffering from the beginnings of a sore throat. Therefore, I attended with a thermometer in my mouth, and I took my temperature several times during my trial, which lasted far into the night. I knelt down several times to exhort Breton to understand that my obsession with Hitler was strictly paranoid and essentially apolitical. I explained that I could not be a Nazi, because if Hitler conquered Europe, he would seize the opportunity to do away with all hysterical characters such as myself, as he had already done in Germany by calling them degenerates. I pointed out that the feminine and irresistibly silly role that I attributed to Hitler would be sufficient to classify me as an iconoclast in the eyes of the Nazis. Similarly, my fanaticism, aggravated by Freud and Einstein, both of them expelled from Germany by Hitler, made it obvious that Hitler interested me only as an object of my delirium, and because he seemed to me of incomparable catastrophic value. In the end, they were convinced of my innocence, but still I had to sign a document in which I declared myself not to be an enemy of the proletariat. I signed without any qualms, since I had never had any feelings either for or against the proletariat.
1938. Man Ray photographs the mannequins created by the Surrealist group for their Paris exhibition. This is the last Surrealist event before the outbreak of war.
Oh, these are cool. Wait.